Here's every team that finished in last place in their conference last season based on how likely they are to go from last to first in 2025. Coming in at number 9, we have Mississippi State. There is zero scenario where they turn around and win the SEC next season. It's simply too layered at the top. There's too many levels to this stuff, and they can have a fun turnaround season, but they're not winning it. Coming in at number 8, we have Purdue. The Boilermakers were really tragically bad this last season, and yes, they're bringing in a new era, new regime, but it's not likely they have a shocking turnaround and win this conference. It's also very layered like the SEC. However, we did see Indiana get pretty close to having an insane turnaround last season, so never say never. Coming in at number 7, we have Kent State. It's not unheard of for a team near the bottom of the MAC to flip and be really good at the top. There's not too much of a gap between the top and bottom usually. However, Kent State was truly awful. They went winless and have one win in the last 2 seasons combined. Coming in at number 6, we have Tulsa. There's a couple of things working together here where Tulsa is not that bad for a last place team. And also, very recently, we saw Tulane go from worst to first in the American. So it is possible. However, it is still pretty stout at the top, so it's not likely. Coming in at number 5, we have Nevada. I don't think they were as bad as their 3-10 record indicated. However, the Mountain West is kind of a gauntlet, especially near the top, but this wouldn't be unheard of. Coming in at number 4, we have Kennesaw State. It's arguable that in the CUSA, the gap between the worst team and the best team is the smallest in the FBS. So Kennesaw State could have a fun turnaround season just like we saw Sam Houston have this last year, and they could probably make the conference title and win it in that case. Coming in at number 3, we have Florida State. We saw the Noles win the ACC just 2 seasons ago. Yes, they had a historic collapse, but who's to say they can't have a historic bounce-back season with some of these exciting new coordinator hires and some of the talent they have in Tallahassee? They could do it because on paper, they look like a talented team again. Coming in at number 2, we have Southern Miss. Their head coach won a Sun Belt title last season at Marshall. So they get him, they get a bunch of his players, they've got other talented guys coming in from the portal. There's a chance he could have his team contending in his first year, and there's no reason to say he can't do it. Coming in at number 1, we have Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy has done similar stuff before. He just seems to defy all logic from year to year, and I could totally see this happening, where Oklahoma State goes from looking completely dead and not winning a conference game to just suddenly being in the conference title picture. It's also the Big 12, which is the Wild West. Anything can happen, and I think Oklahoma State, the most likely last place finisher that could go from last to first.